Explore Linlithgow Palace with the junior tour guides.
Historic Environment Scotland work in partnership with schools across Scotland to deliver the Junior Tour Guides project.
Young people are supported to learn about their local site and to develop skills and confidence to share their knowledge with other schools and their local community in a fun and engaging way. Linlithgow Primary School will introduce you to Linlithgow Palace and to the Stewart kings and queens for whom this was a pleasure palace.
Meet the Stewart kings and queens.
Welcome to Linlithgow Palace, one of the most awesome palaces in Scotland. This has been a place for Scottish kings and queens for 600 years.
We have some stories and information that will help you understand more about the palace through the centuries. We are wearing costumes from around the time of Mary Queen of Scots, who was born here in 1542.
This is the main ceremonial entrance. This is one of the oldest parts of the palace. Different royals from a line of king and queens called the Stewarts came here and added to it over the centuries, and pretty much all of them were called James.
There was James I, James II, James III, James IV, James V, Mary Queen of Scots only avoided being called James because she was a girl, and James VI. It was James I who built this part of the palace.
All of them loved coming here, and you can see why. It's a beautiful spot. The royal court would move around different parts of Scotland. They didn't just stay in one place, but when they were here in Linlithgow, they were mostly just having fun. All of them added bits over the years to make it bigger and better.
They also pretty much all met gruesome ends. In fact, some people think the Stewart kings and queens were cursed.
James I was the poet king. He banned football and stole your bling. Not the best plan if you want to be adored. His nobles rose up and left him floored.
James II had a fiery face, kept his guns in the pride of place. Loved his cans and loved his guns, met his end with a backfiring one.
James III had 3 sons. His second was his favourite one. His eldest didn't, like that threat, led an army to his dad's death.
James IV was quite a draw. Handsome, charming, he had it all. Met his end at the Battle of Flodden, leaving his country feeling downtrodden.
James V would go in disguise. He loved things French, including his wives. This one got to die in his bed. He was only 30 and wanted to be dead.
Next comes Mary, Queen of the Scots. Her nobles they argued and they fought. Things went bad and she ran to cousin Liz, who put her head in more than a tiz.
James VI is also number 1. Got to rule England when cousin Liz was done. Witches on the brain and liked a bit of gold. He's the only one who made it to be old.
So what with all this backstabbing, security was pretty tight when the royal court were staying at Linlithgow Palace. Our friends in security are going to tell you more about how to keep the palace safe and secure.
Security at the palace.
Halt! Who goes there? Friend or foe? Only friends of the royal Stewart family may proceed any further.
Boss, it's okay. I got this coded letter from the team outside. It says, let me see. It's in code. So let me just... Sorry, children learning tell all.
Let me see that. It says, children learning tell all. You need to practice your secret codes, boy. You'll tell us a lot more about secret codes later, but you need to know it's one way I keep the royal family safe. I am the constable here, the head of security. It's a very important job. Guards, tell them how we keep the royal family safe.
Left, right, left, right, left, right.
There were lots of ways we made it difficult to get in and out of the palace. We could lower and raise a drawbridge to let in people, horses and carts in and out. We guards checked everyone coming in and out.
We had a portcullis. A portcullis is a strong, heavy metal gate with points at the end, which is either raised to let people in or lowered to keep people out.
We guards control the entry to the palace and patrol key points around the palace. Our base was here in the guard room to the left of the main entrance.
If you visit the palace, you can see it. You can still see the privy in there. We would spend hours in that room.
What, in the toilet?
No, not in the toilet. We even slept on the floors, in thin rollaway mattresses or blankets.
Beneath the guard room is something called a pit prison, a prison beneath the ground which was dark and miserable. The prisoners wouldn't have been here long, as this is a pleasure palace, the place the royals came to relax. Serious crimes would have been punished at Blackness Castle, not far from here.
And if you meant no harm to royal family at all, you could proceed into the magnificent courtyard. This is how it looks.
500 years ago, this courtyard was dazzling. There were so many people coming and going. The king, the queen, the baggage train, foreign ambassadors and courtiers.
The Stewart kings and queens left their mark on the stone. If you look carefully at the walls, you will see thistles, roses and lilies, symbols of Scotland, England and France.
The thistle is for the Scottish royal family. The rose is for England because James IV married an English princess, Margaret Tudor. And the lily is for France to symbolise James VI's claim of being King of France.
There was a roof, of course, but it came down in a fire in 1746 and has never been replaced.
This amazing fountain was put here in the time of James V to show his wealth and status. It's covered in little statues of the people in his court in Scotland. A farmer, a priest, a wee dog, I'm sure I must be on there somewhere. Anyway, you can see why we wanted to protect this palace and the important people inside its walls. I mentioned one way we did that was by using coded letters. I want to pass you over to some of our friends and I have an activity for you so you can learn codes for yourself.
Writing coded messages.
Many of us working for the king were very skilled at writing messages and secret codes. You've heard of how many Stewart kings and queen who built this palace ended up murdered or executed by their enemies. To keep them safe, their friends passed messages to one another about where they're going or what their plans were in code.
There could be spies everywhere. They tried to get hold of our letters and messages. We had to use different codes in case anyone got hold of them or cracked one of the codes.
We trust you and we need more code writers, so we're going to teach you some of our very best codes.
Another name for a code is a cipher. We're going to teach you 4 different ciphers and ask you to write an important message using them.
Quills and parchments ready, or whatever those things you write with?
I am the Scottish ambassador in the court of the English King Henry VIII. You might know him, he's the one with all the wives. I need to send a message to the Scottish King James V. The message is, do not meet King Henry at York. It's imperative the king receives this message. His life may be at stake, but we can't just write that or the spies will see. I want you to use Caesar cipher to write this message.
The Caesar cipher has been said to have been used by Julius Caesar in Roman times. You move each letter of the alphabet 3 places along, so A would become D, B would become E, and so on. To write your message to King James, you can write out the alphabet like this. Or you may have a coding wheel you can use like this one.
A coding wheel works like this. You can make it so that A equals D, A equals E, A equals F, and so on. Now pause the video and have a go at writing your code.
Do not meet King Henry at York.
Your message should look like this. Remember, it is vital that this is correct so it could save the king's life.
GR, do. QRW, not. PHHW, meet. NLQJ, king. KHQUB, Henry. DW, at. BRUN, York.
Now you're ready to learn our next cipher.
The next cipher is backwards writing. I'm the steward here at the palace, which means I make sure everything runs smoothly for the king and queen, and I am the right-hand man. I spot this large group of visitors at the palace gates and I'm suspicious of one of the people in the group. They could mean the king harm. So I want to send a message to the guards in the king's hall. The message is, there are a large group of visitors at the gates. Be ready.
You're going to write each word backwards. Now pause the video and have a go at writing your message.
There are a large group of visitors at the gate. Be ready.
Your message should look like this.
EREHT, there. ERA, L, large. PUORG, group. FO, of. SROTISIV, visitors. TA, at. EHT, the. SETAG, gates. EBBYDAER, ready.
I hope you got it right. I could pay with my job or even my life if I let any traitors into the palace gates.
The next cipher is the pigpen cipher. We're going to turn all the letters in the alphabet into symbols. You may want to have the cipher ready for this one, as it can be tricky.
For each letter, you're going to draw the shapes and or dots around it instead of the letter. Say you wanted to write the letter M, you would draw this instead. The cook here at the palace is so afraid of the king's food being poisoned, he writes his shopping list in pigpen cipher. Here's what the cook needs on his shopping list: beef, mutton and salt. Pause the video and have a go at writing the cook's shopping list in pigpen cipher. Here's what the shopping list should look like in pigpen cipher.
You're doing very well, so I'll teach you one more code.
The final cipher is the letter swap. You swap the last letter of each word with the first letter of the next. So if you wrote cat sat on mat, you'd exchange the T at the end of cat for an S, and the S at the start of sat for the T at the end of cat. So cat sat on mat would end up cas, tile, eat.
James V's Queen Mary de Guise came from France. She wants a French dressmaker to keep her up to date with the latest fashions, so she has them before anyone else. The message is, I would like to order a new French hood.
Pause the video and try writing Mary de Guise's message using the code. You exchange the last letter of each word with the first letter of the next.
I would like to order a new French hood.
Here is what your message should look like.
W-I-I-O-U-L-L, wood. G-I-K-T, like. E-O, 2. O-R-D-E-A, order. N-A-A-E-F, new. W-R-E-N-C-H, French. H-O-O-G, hood.
Well done, you've learnt a vital skill for survival in our palace. We'd love to see how your messages have turned out. So share them on social media and tag #learningwithEdges.
We're impressed. We think that you're ready to meet the king. The king had apartments here in the palace, including the president's chamber where he would see his subjects. Our friends in the next scene will prepare you to meet him.
Meeting the King, Royal Etiquette.
The royal president's chamber is where lucky ordinary people will get the chance to speak to the king or queen, to ask them favours, for example, or for help with something. The walls and ceilings were beautifully decorated and there were brightly coloured floor tiles. This window looks like a ladder. It had different colours of glass in each space and was dazzling when the sun shone through it. Below the window was a small cupboard where the king would display his precious silver and ornaments.
You have been chosen to meet King James V. We are lords and ladies of the royal court and we will teach you how to behave in the presence of their majesties. His Majesty will be here in a moment. I hope you know how to bow and curtsy.
I think we best teach you just in case. Girls, to curtsy, put your right behind your left, curtsy low and bow your head. Do not look at the king. You may pause the film now and practice your curtsies.
Practice your curtsies.
Boys, to bow. Use your right hand and with a graceful gesture, remove your hat and bow low. Pause the film and practice.
Practice your bows.
Listen carefully or you could end up on the wrong side of the king. You can only approach the king when being given permission to do so.
When approaching the king, you must keep your hands by your sides. This shows you have no weapons.
That is very important as a lot of Stuart kings are murdered, as you've heard.
You bow or curtsy 3 times before leaving the king, and you must walk backwards. And never ever turn your back on the king. His Grace is coming, get ready.
My lords, come forward.
Watch carefully. He's walking with his hands by his side to show he has no weapons. He bows.
My lords, how is your fine son? Is he grown old enough to serve me in my court yet? Your Grace, my family would be deeply honoured. And your daughter? I have heard she is a skilled musician. It would please the Queen to have her with her ladies. Your Grace, we are overcome. Nothing would give us greater pleasure. You may bring them to our royal banquet in the Great Hall this evening. You may bring these guests with you too. Now you may go.
He has bowed 3 times and is walking backwards.
Now pause the film and practice. Choose someone to be the king or queen.
Practice meeting the king or queen.
Well done if you managed. Walking backwards isn't easy, is it?
Now, the king and queen have invited you to a royal banquet, a great feast. I do hope you know your table manners. Maybe we better practice.
You only sit down once the king and queen are seated. The trick is to remember to watch the king. Sit when he sits down, eat when he eats, and stop eating when he stops.
The king always has his food first. Hopefully it will be served quickly, for if the service is slowed, the king will stop eating before you even start.
It is important to keep your elbows off the table and no gobbling or chewing. Do not scratch your head or anywhere else, and do not sniff the wine or food.
Maybe you should practice next time you're having a meal in class or at home.
We've done our very best to prepare you.
Be sure to practice your royal etiquette, and we hope we can look forward to welcoming you to the Linlithgow Palace soon.
In the next scene, some of our friends will show you around the court kitchen, where the food for banquets was prepared.
Jobs in the court kitchen.
You're here just in time. There's one of the king's massive banquets tonight. We're expecting 300 guests. This is the court kitchen where food is cooked for feasts in the great hall next door, and we need your help.
Cook has been screaming and shouting. The kitchen maid is in tears. She got a slap for spilling some water on the stairs. She had to carry a heavy bucket up many flights of stairs, so even we, grander servants, are helping today.
There are many jobs to do. Listen carefully and choose which you'd be best at. You can act it out with your friends or in class after you've watched.
How can we help, my lady?
We have come to let you know what the king and queen would like served at tonight's banquet.
There must be roasted peacock with a full tail plumage on display. His Grace wants to see feathers perfectly intact. And could you please stuff it with mallard and teal, as he enjoyed that the last time?
The queen has requested swan stuffed with capon, pigeon and robin. I assume you have got a swan already this morning.
Yes, my lady, it was a struggle, but we have this one. Make sure there are plenty of pies. We want tongue pie and my favourite, mutton pie.
Oh, delicious.
And if the fisherman has been back with trout from the loch, make sure there are trout pastries.
And don't forget the sweet meats, apple mousse and cubes of jellied milk.
We need plenty of ale for the lower tables, and the steward will bring up some of the finest wines from the cellar downstairs. Her Majesty would like her wine spiced. Now, chop chop, much to do.
Oh, you're funny, Lady Janet.
Yes, because they'll be chopping.
Now, get on with it.
Right, we need to get some of that meat cooked. Watch carefully. Here's one of the first jobs. There's a spit here, a metal pole in front of the fire for roasting meat. A long spit which is used for large pieces of meat, like pig and sheep.
There would be a tray below the spit to collect the juices from the meat, and the cook would use that for gravy and basting the meat. Servants called turnbrockies would turn the spit. This was a lowly position and extremely hard work, as it took a lot of strength to turn some of the cuts of meat.
You could always recognise a turnbrockie because one side of their face, the side closest to the fire, was bright red. So that is the first job for you to do, a turnbrockie, turning the heavy handle of the spit by the fire all day long.
Practice being a turnbrockie.
They said we need plenty of pies, so the next job is at the pie oven. This oven would have been used for pies and bread, and the servant would have used what looks like a shovel with a long handle to place them inside and take things out. That's the next job for you to act out. Don't let anything burn.
Practice baking the pies.
To the right of the fireplace was a little room, probably used for keeping plates and pots and pans. My lady said there would be 300 guests tonight. That's a lot of plates, so you better get busy getting plates, dishes, pots and pans clean and ready.
Practice washing the dishes.
This kitchen's going to get messy. Some of you are going to have to keep it clean. There's going to be feathers and bits of animals we can't eat, and vegetable peelings lying about. So some of you are going to have to start sweeping and mopping, and once you've gathered up the rubbish, you can put it down this rubbish chute here. This empties onto the ground below.
Practice cleaning the kitchen.
And once the food is all prepared, the better class of servants, like us, will be ready to carry the platters into the great hall. The platters are placed in these huge serving hatches. They're big enough that almost one or peacock can fit through. Serving the platters is an especially important job. They can be very heavy and you don't want to drop anything in front of the king and queen.
Practice carrying the platters.
What are you waiting for? Run along and practice. It's a great honour to work in the royal kitchen, you know. In the next scene, you'll find out what it was like to be at the table of a royal banquet in the Great Hall.
Dancing and entertainment.
We are the lords of the royal court. This was the great hall where royal banquets took place. The king and his most important guests would sit at the top of the table near the magnificent fireplace. It can be chilly in an old palace like this.
This was the largest fireplace in all of Scotland. A whole tree trunk could be burned in it. It was built by James IV, who did much work at the palace. He would sit in the centre, often wearing a black velvet cap and scarlet hose. He was very charming.
Look how long this room is. This room could sit up to 300 people. There are long rows of tables along both sides. A lot of the household would take their meals here when the court was in residence.
It was a fine place with a wonderful wooden ceiling, like the one at Stirling Castle. We'd go in a royal progress from Edinburgh to Linlithgow and then to Stirling.
The royal household had to move on after a few weeks in one place and allow the servants to clean the garde-robes, the privies, toilets I think I'll call them. The garde-robes were made of stone situated at the top of the towers, so the nastiness could ooze down the walls and onto the ground. The servants would pour buckets of water down them and put place shrubs and herbs on the floor.
Ugh, we don't want to hear about all that. Let's discuss finer details. This hall was so colourful. There were tapestries hung from the walls to keep the drafts out.
High up, there were brightly painted statues and heraldic emblems.
At the far end was the minstrel's gallery. Musicians would play on feast days. Each course would be announced by a herald of trumpets.
There were jugglers and acrobats to entertain the guests. And of course, after the food, there would be dancing.
I take it you know how to dance a bass dance? No? Oh dear, then we'll have to show you.
Hi, I'm Lord Joshua, and today I will show you a dance based on the bass dance. 3 steps to the right, 3 steps to the left, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, clap your hands 3 times, 2 steps to the left, 2 steps to the right, 3 steps back, 3 steps forward, clap your hands 3 times, bow and curtsy, take your partner and form a circle, 3 steps to the right, 3 steps to the left, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, clap your hands 3 times. Now bow and curtsy.
Now try it yourselves.
The end.
Thank you for watching our visit around Linlithgow Palace.
We are the children from Linlithgow Primary School. Children from over our school have been taking learners from other schools around the palace for over 40 years.
We hope you've enjoyed watching.
Thanks and goodbye.
For more information about Linlithgow Junior Tour Guides, please inquire at Historic Environment Scotland, learning at hes.scot or Linlithgow Primary School, linlithgow-ps at westlothian.org.uk. Historic Environment Scotland, Illuminate UK, Linlithgow Primary School, Media Education.